The clock showed 9 and a bit in the evening. The house was quiet, and it felt heavy. Max wanted to spend the evening alone thinking. But then Shelley's name came up on his phone, and he picked it up. He shouldn't answer, but he did. "Hello." His voice was calm. "You son of a bitch." Shelley shouted through the phone. Her voice was full of anger. Max made a face. He knew she would be angry. Her voice hurt, but he tried to be calm. "Hi, I love you too." "How could you?" Shelley screamed so loud that her voice sounded like it was breaking the air. "How could you do that in front of our kids? They saw everything. You made me look stupid in front of them." Max tried to stay calm. He knew arguing was useless, but he was still angry. "Honey, can you relax a bit?" he said, trying to be calm. "You know you can have a stroke from being so angry. Take a break. You're a bad person." Her voice shook with anger. "How could you leave your wedding ring on the table for everyone to see? The kids noticed everything. What kind of game are you playing?" Max looked at the ring on the table. It sparkled under the desk light, like a reminder of something he had forgotten for a long time. He laughed a little. "Did you read the note?" "What does it say?" he asked quietly. "I read the note?" Shelley yelled into the phone. "Are you kidding me? Do you think I'm joking? How can you make fun of me like that?" Max tried to stay calm, but her tantrum was stronger today. "This is not a joke, Shelley," he said gently, but she didn't listen. "I don't know who you are anymore." Her voice got louder, as if each sentence was a blow. "You changed, you became someone else. We're family, Max, but you left the ring in front of everyone. How could you do that to us?" "Do you hear me?" Max asked. "Did you read the note?" "You lied to me," Shelley hissed. "You left the children, and now you want me to take care of them. Do you think I didn't see that? You just want to run away from responsibility." Max tightened his fingers on the phone. He couldn't tell the truth. He still didn't tell Shelley that he saw her with Ray. He saw how she laughed and touched his face. He wanted to tell her about it, but he was afraid. "I should have called, it's my mistake," he said. "But the kiss, a kiss." Her voice cut the silence. "I've never kissed anyone. Ray is my friend." "You're wrong, Max. You make things up. You're crazy." Max was tense again. He felt her words break his calm. She was still lying, and it was hard. But he couldn't say everything now. Everything would happen later. "Tell me one thing, Shelley," Max said softly. "Is Ray your friend?" She was silent for a second. It seemed like forever to Max. "Yes, he's my colleague," she finally whispered. Max closed his eyes and squeezed his jaw. He was angry. He opened his eyes and held the phone harder. He wanted to control his feelings with his hands. "Shelley, do you really think I'm making this up? That I'm paranoid?" he asked softly, almost without feeling. She didn't answer immediately. In that pause, Max felt something bad. "Max," her voice was softer than before. "You have to understand that I wouldn't do what you say I did. You don't believe me, and it hurts us both. We need to fix it somehow." He clenched his fists even harder. "Fix it?" He laughed. "How? We've been apart for a long time." Shelley's voice shook. "I think we need time to think about things. Max, I don't know how we ended up here, but I do know that I don't want—" Her voice broke. There was a pause. Max waited. He heard her breathing. It was slow and heavy. Suddenly, Shelley said 4 words. They were simple, but they broke their world. "I don't love you anymore." Max felt his heart stop. Then it beat again. He couldn't move. He couldn't speak. The whole world seemed to freeze. Only Shelley's breathing was there. He whispered her name, but his voice couldn't reach her. She was silent. He knew it was over. Max was sitting at the table. He was looking at his cold coffee. He remembered what Shelley said the day before. She said, "I don't love you anymore." She said it calmly. Max didn't understand. He wanted to forget those words, but he couldn't. The door creaked and Shelley came into the room. She looked at Max. She seemed to be thinking about what to say. "We need to talk," she said. Her voice was soft, but cold. She wanted to make a line between them. Max nodded. He waited for her to speak. Shelley sat down. She straightened her hair. She didn't look at Max. "I want to tell you something." She paused like she was getting brave. "You know we've had problems for a long time." Max leaned forward and put his elbows on the table. He wanted her to go on. "You're different now, Max. I don't know who you are. We're in different worlds. You're always at work. You think a lot. I know you have a lot of work to do. But when was the last time we were together? Max frowned and clenched his jaw. She cut him to the quick, but he couldn't deny the truth in her words. He had been pulling away from her lately. He was avoiding the problems that had been there for a long time. "You're saying it's all my fault," he said, trying to hold back his anger. "That I'm to blame for everything." Shelley shook her head. "No, it's not just you. But I can't go on like this. We're like two people in the same room who don't speak the same language. It hurts to say it, Max. I feel like our relationship is dying." Max's heart tightened, but then he felt a flash of anger. "And what do you want to do about it?" he asked. "Leave? Or what?" Shelley looked at him. There was something in her eyes he hadn't seen for a long time. She sat up and tried to look confident. "I met someone else," she said. The words hung in the air. Max stood up. The chair scraped on the floor. "Ray?" His voice was low. Shelley didn't answer. She looked away and nodded. "It's true," Max said. "Did you?" Shelley put her hands on her face. Her shoulders shook. She cried. "No," she said. "It wasn't like that. We didn't do anything, Max. We just talked. He understands me." "Does he know?" he asked. "Can't you see how I look at him?" Shelley started to cry. Her voice was shaking. "I'm not cheating on you. I'm confused," she said. Her words were weak, like she didn't believe herself. Max stepped back. His world was falling apart. He wanted to be angry, but everything inside him was boiling. "Why, Shelley?" he asked. "Why did you go to another man?" She looked at him with tears in her eyes. "I'm not alive when I'm with you," she said softly. Her words hurt Max so much that he couldn't stand. She left the kitchen. Max ran after her, but she was already gone. Max picked up his phone and started to call Ray. Max was angry. His hands were shaking. He wanted to talk to Ray about his wife. Shelley came to the door. She was scared and tired. She asked Max what he was doing. "I'm calling Ray to ask him about my wife," Max said. "Max, don't do it," Shelley said. "It won't help. It will make things worse." She took the phone from Max's hands. Max put the phone down and sat down. "Worse?" His voice was low. "How can it be worse? You said I don't matter to you. What do you want? Just to accept that we're finished?" She sat down again. "I don't know what I want. I just know I can't go on like this. We need to change." He was silent. She was close to tears. "I didn't do anything with Ray," she said. "There's nothing between us. I swear." Max looked at her. His eyes were tired. "What should I do?" "What's wrong?" he asked finally. "Should I forget everything you say? Or what? Should I believe you when you say you're happy with someone else?" Shelley cried. Tears came to her eyes. "I don't want you to forget," she whispered. She looked away. "I don't know how to explain. We lost each other, Max. I want us back, but I don't know if we can be together." Max was quiet for a long time. He felt sad again. "There's no coming back, Shelley," he said finally. He stood up. "If you go to him, we won't be together anymore." Shelley was sad. She didn't know what to say. Max left the kitchen. She was alone. Max lay in his bed. The room was dark, and it squeezed his chest. The house was too quiet, and his thoughts were bothering him. Shelley hadn't been home for days. They hadn't talked since their talk in the kitchen. Her words were stuck in his head like a splinter. "I didn't cheat on you." How could she say that? Her eyes said something else. Her every look, every move betrayed her lie. Max got out of bed and went to Shelley's computer. He wanted to find the truth. He knew she was hiding something. He thought every digital device leaves fingerprints. He sat down at his computer and turned on the screen. He knew that he had a chance because Shelley always wrote her passwords so that everyone could see them. Once, he remembered that she had typed something quickly on the keyboard. Sure enough, there was a note with some random letters in the corner of the screen. Max typed one of the letters. Wrong. He tried another one, and the screen blinked. He was in the system. "Damn, Shelley," he said, feeling happy. He opened the usual folders with photos of their kids and some work documents. Nothing special. But Max knew the truth was hidden somewhere else. He looked through her mail and saw a letter from Ray in the archive. Friday, 7 p.m. "Are you sure you want to do it?" Max clenched his teeth. He felt his heart beat faster. Finally, he opened the letter and started to read. Each paragraph pulled him away from reality. They were talking about something they were hiding. Ray asked Shelley if she was ready for a big step. She answered quickly, but it was obvious from her words that it wasn't just a friendly message. This was a plan Max didn't know about. Not yet. Max still doesn't believe, Ray wrote in an email. But we will decide soon. Max felt angry. Have they planned this all along? Shelley seemed worried, but she didn't leave because she was waiting for a good time. He opened the browser and looked at the search history. There were some strange things about divorce and breaking up. But one word caught his attention, Lance. He remembered that he saw this name before, but he didn't pay attention to it. Max opened the chat and saw their messages. Do you think I'm right, Lance? Shelley asked. What if Max finds out? He won't. We made everything ready. Be strong. Max was angry. They talked about him like he was stupid. He was just a toy in their game. He had to do something fast. He couldn't sit and watch his life fall apart. Max grabbed the phone and called Shelley. The phone rang a long time. Finally, she answered. Her voice was low and tired. Where are you? Asked Max coldly. I'm at a friend's house, Max. Max was angry. Which friend? Shelley didn't answer. It doesn't matter, Max. We agreed to take a break. I know you met with Lance and Ray. Shelley was quiet. What are you talking about? Don't lie to me. I saw your messages. You wanted to frame me? Max, I'm sorry. I didn't want to tell you. Her voice was shaking, like she was scared. You knew everything, Max. You and Lance agreed on everything. It's not true, Max. You misunderstood. Max hit the table. Did you forget? You betrayed me, Shelley. You and Ray planned to leave me nothing. Please, Max, calm down. It's not what it seems. Then what is it? Tell me what I don't understand. There was silence on the phone. Max could hear Shelley thinking. Max left the house. He was holding the phone so tight that his fingers were white. He was angry. He wanted to find Ray and be angry with him. Shelley was still talking on the phone, but Max didn't listen. He knew she was lying. He knew Ray was guilty. Max, listen to me. Shelley begged. You're wrong. Ray has nothing to do with this. Max threw the phone on the seat. He turned off the engine and drove away. His heart was beating fast. He knew where Ray was. He said he went to the gym every evening. Max thought that Ray was different from him. Ray was strong and successful. Max felt weak and sad. But today he wanted to surprise Ray. Max stopped the car near the gym. The lights were on. There were other cars in the parking lot. He got out of the car and went to the door. Inside, he smelled sweat. He looked around and saw Ray. Ray was standing against the wall. He was hitting the air. He didn't see anything around him. Max was angry. Ray's punches were wrong. Max thought, you can't hide from me. Max walked forward. He didn't know what to say. He just knew he wanted to make Ray feel his anger. His steps were loud, but Ray didn't hear them. Ray turned around. Max saw his surprise. Max? Ray asked. There was surprise and maybe fear in his voice. Max didn't answer. He kept coming. His eyes were burning. What are you doing? Ray took a step back. He felt scared. Before Ray could move, Max grabbed his shirt. Did you know about this, Ray? Max whispered, looking at him. You thought I wouldn't know? What do you mean? Ray tried to move away, but Max kept him there, pushing him against the wall. About you and Shelley. Max shouted, feeling angry. How long have you been planning behind my back? Ray stopped, realizing that Max knew more than he wanted. Listen, Ray said, trying to control the situation. It's all wrong. There's nothing between me and Shelley. Max hit him hard in the chest. Don't lie to me. Max grabbed his shirt again. I saw your messages. You think I'm stupid? You've been trying to hurt me all this time. Max, stop. Ray was breathing hard, trying to make peace. You don't understand. It's not like that. But Max didn't listen to him anymore. He was angry. He punched Ray in the face. Ray fell to the floor. Ray tried to get up, but he was bleeding. You're crazy. Ray screamed. Max hit him again. Then Max stopped and said, You ruined my life. You and Shelley. Finally, Ray managed to push Max away. He stood up, holding his nose. We're just friends, he said. Friends? He asked sarcastically. You think I'm stupid, Ray? Ray took a step back and hit the wall. Max, His voice was weak. Max took a step forward and heard his phone ring. It was Shelley. She wanted him to stop. What? He growled. Max, don't, she cried. I know you're with Ray. Please don't fight. Max stopped and looked at Ray. Ray was holding the wall and breathing hard. Why should I listen to you? He asked. It's my fault, Shelley said. We didn't do anything. I swear. She started crying. Max felt his hands relax. Max stood still with the phone to his ear. He looked at Ray, who was still leaning against the wall and panting. On the other end of the line, Shelley was crying. Her words started to make Max less angry. She sounded sad, like she knew they were at the end. Max, Shelley said through her tears. Her voice was shaking. It was my fault. I let things go too far. But Ray didn't do anything wrong. We didn't have sex. I just felt lonely. I wanted us to be together again. Max held the phone tighter. His heart beat fast, but he felt a cold, empty feeling instead of anger. He had waited for Shelley to tell the truth. Now, when she did, he didn't feel happy or relieved. He felt empty. You lied to me, Max said to Ray. You hid it from me? Shelley cried. She said, yes, I lied, but not like you think. I was afraid you would know I was not the woman you wanted. I needed someone to understand me. It was not cheating. It was my weak spot. Max stepped back. He looked at Ray. There was no anger in his eyes like before. Ray did not try to explain. He knew nothing could fix the situation. Shelley, Max said, why did you not tell me before? Why did you not give us a chance? Shelley cried again. She breathed heavily. I didn't know what to do. She said softly. I was scared for a long time. I was afraid that if I told you the truth, we would lose everything. Then it was too late. Max closed his eyes and felt tired. Everything, anger, pain, betrayal, was mixed together. He wanted it all to stop. He wanted this drama to go away like a bad dream. I'm going home, he said. We need to talk. Just the two of us. Without Ray. She nodded. Good. I'll wait. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. He ended the call and put his phone in his pocket. Ray still stood against the wall with his face covered in blood. He didn't say anything. You didn't help her, Max said quietly. But you made her worse. You made her even more distant from me. Ray was silent. He was afraid. He knew there were no excuses. Max went to the door. The door closed. It was cool outside. Max felt good for the first time. It was not the end. It was the start of something new. Max did not know what would happen next. But he knew one thing. His old life was over. He drove home. He was ready to talk to his parents. And that's where today's story ends. If you liked it, don't forget to like it and leave a comment. Your feedback helps the algorithms promote my videos. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It helps me keep creating new stories for you. Thank you for watching to the end, and see you in the next video.